Hey, yoga friends. I'm Jessie. For anyone I don't know or haven't practiced with before, welcome to the Yoga Vibe YouTube channel. My pronouns are they and she. I've been teaching yoga for 10 years, and today we're going to move. We're going to do some twisting, we're going to do some hamstring lengthening, and we're just going to kind of move our bodies around. So, we're going to use a bolster, a blanket, and a couple of blocks. I don't have any particular plans for them, but have whatever props you like to have with you when you practice, and try to grab these if you have them. So we're going to get started in Vajrasana, sitting back on our heels. And if, like me, you're a person that sometimes my knees get a little crabby in this pose, go ahead and take a block and bring it on the medium or low height between your heels and under your sit bones. You can always cushion your knees with a blanket as well if you want. All right. We'll take a moment to settle. Let your hands rest down on your legs. If it feels safe where you are, let your eyes close. And give yourself permission to shift. Whatever you were doing before, whatever's coming up after will still be there when you crawl off of the mat post Shavasana bliss. And so for now, we get to be in this little time away from time. We turn to our practice. Notice your breath. And see if you can inhale a little more air every time you breathe in, and exhale out a little extra air at the end of your breath out. All right. From here, reach your arms up overhead. You can open your eyes or keep them closed. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms, push up. And then release your fingers and tip to one side. Doesn't matter which one. Bring a hand to the floor and reach the opposite arm up and over. Come all the way back up. Reach your arms. Take a big breath in. And exhale. Tip the other way. And then come back up through center. We're going to twist. Twist to the right. Bring your your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Take your right hand either to a block behind you, to your low back, or around towards your left outer hip. And then breathe big. See if you can fill up into all the places in your back that feel resistant to this movement. And without force, just offer more space. It might feel good for your neck to look back over your back shoulder, or it might be interesting to keep your body the same, but bring your chin over your left shoulder. That's the one for me today. And then wherever you are, look forward, unwind, and come all the way back through center. Second side. Right hand to your left leg, left hand to the block, to your low back, or around towards your outer right hip, like you were going to hook your fingers on the front of your thigh. My arms aren't long enough for that. You might notice that this side resists differently, maybe more, maybe less, maybe just in a different spot. And so see if you can offer some of the same ease and grace that you offered the first side. Again, head can be over the left shoulder or over the right shoulder. Keep rotating your chest to the left, whichever one you pick. And then exhale, unwind. We're going to come up to hands and knees. So you can position your blocks up towards the front of your mat. If you'd like, you can cushion your kneecaps with a blanket. I'm rocking AstroTurf today. It's pretty cushy, so. From our tabletop position, we're going to melt belly and chest towards the floor. Lift our head and tailbone towards the sky. And then reverse the wave. Round your back, tuck your chin, tuck your tail. Go back and forth a few times at your own pace. Press down through your fingers. Try to grip the mat. Make some space in your body by rooting down through your arms. And then come all the way back through a neutral spine. Step your right foot outside of your right hand. We're going to shift forward, hips down, chest up. And then breathe out and reach your hips back, lift your right toes. So not quite a runner's stretch, not quite a low lunge. We're going to move back and forth here. So we're warming up the big joints of our hips, our knees. Our spine is still doing some of that cat and cow extension, followed by maybe some flexion. And then come back, hands and knees. Step your left foot forward. And we're going to explore the same movements on this side. And I almost guarantee that it's going to feel really different. That where it feels stuck or where you feel liberated is going to shift. And so let yourself shift. Try not to get too caught up in the idea that things should be the same side to side, because at least in my experience and in my body, that is not the case. Just a couple more rounds back and forth. And then rebend your front leg. Bring your hands to the mat and step back. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hang your head. And make some space in your spine. So think about more of a cow spine. So udders to the floor. Head and tailbone maybe even lift. Let your belly and chest reach towards the top of your thighs, and then root back through your outer heels. Ground down, get long. Stay here for a few more breaths, and just let whatever has shown up with you today show all the way up. Something I've been saying in my classes a lot lately is like not to chase yourself away, but to sort of offer a seat at the table for all the parts of you. Shift forward, come to plank, high push-up shape, long, strong spine, heels reach away from your head, grip the mat with your hands, and then elbows bend straight back, lower yourself all the way to the floor. We're going to take 3 Shalambasanas here. So we're going to do kind of a progressive version of it. So for this first iteration, we're going to go forehead down and palms to the floor like a low V alongside of our hips. Feet together, legs together, tops of the feet pressed down. So from the ground, charge things up. Push into your hands, lift your shoulders, push into your feet, engage your kneecaps. We're not going to be doing anything here but breathing and engaging. Push down through your hands, reach your shoulder blades towards each other and down your spine. Maybe you even crawl your fingertips back more. And then for the last breath here, press the back of your skull up. Keep looking at the floor. Keep pressing into your hands and feet. Whoo, and then release. You can just flop. That's what I'm doing. And then we're going to come into our second version. So we're going to start the same way. Heads down. Arms are a low, wide V. Feet pressed down. Push into your hands. Push into your feet. Charge all the muscles in your legs up. Charge your back up. Lift your head and shoulders. Breathe. Think about lengthening your spine instead of lifting it. And then maybe for the last couple of breaths here, pick your feet up, point your feet back. Engage your glutes, engage your low back, engage your upper back, and then lower. Whew. Again, maybe a hip slosh feels good. All right, one more time. So feel free to repeat either of those versions if they were plenty of work, if they felt satisfying. But if you're ready to add on, hands come down, feet press down, charge things up, lift your head and feet. Use the lift to remind your back, the muscles along your spine, to engage, to hug towards center. And then you could stay right here, or you can lift the backs of your arms up. You can reach your fingertips back, and then release. Nice job, friends. We're going to meet up back in downward facing dog. I'm remembering that my mat moves on the AstroTurf, so apologies if I'm scoot booting all over the screen. Downward facing dog. We'll just take a moment to process. To notice what is happening in your body, with your breath, in your mind. And then take lots of little steps forward, all the way up to a forward fold at the front of your mat. You can go slow or quick. Eventually, you're going to have to come up onto your fingertips or grab your blocks. And when you do, grab your blocks, bring them on the medium height, the tall height, or medium, I guess. And then bring your forearms onto the blocks, bend your knees, and let your head and shoulders hang. Maybe even flutter your lips, or you could kind of shake your head yes and no. Come up onto your fingertips. Extend out long through your spine. Deep breath in. Exhale, fold back down. Maybe lower the blocks a level, or bring your hands closer to the floor. One more time. Inhale, extend. Exhale, release. Bring your hands onto the blocks. Bring them on either side of your feet. Bend into your right leg and step your left foot back behind you. Bring the blocks underneath your shoulders so that you can push down into your hands like they were on the floor. And see if you can use that extra support to sit your hips deeper. Lift your chest and shoulders. And then a few times, we're going to lift the hips, straighten the front leg, and fold. And then rebend your front knee, sit your hips down, lift your chest up. Keep going. So like we did in our Anjaneyasana and runner's stretch a few moments ago, we're moving through these actions. They might be a little funkier, a little clunkier. You might feel like they move more smoothly. It's all good. We're just warming things up. And then the next time your hips are lifted and your legs are lengthened, Maybe step your back foot in a little bit and fold for a few breaths in pyramid. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, rebend your front knee, bring your blocks with you, hands forward, step your back foot up, forward fold, Uttanasana. And bring your hands onto blocks, walk them back, bend into your left knee, step your right foot back. Nice long step. So you might need to give a scooch. My friend Monica, who's a yoga teacher, a great yoga teacher, likes to say, ain't no shame in a good scooch. And I think of her every time I do it because, like, really, there's no problem with taking a longer step. That's it. So once you get settled here, make sure you can push down into the blocks to help support you. We're going to move back and forth. Hips lift, legs extend, spine folds. And back and forth a few more times. Go slow or quick. Maybe adjust the stance after you've done a couple of them. That's it. And then the next time you have your hips lifted, your legs extended, take a few breaths in pyramid. Come on up. Step your back foot forward, forward fold. Bring your hands on either side of your pelvis, shoulder blades together. Push down to lift up. Come all the way to stand. All right, we're going to do some crescent pose. We're going to do 3 variations of crescent. So this first one, you can bring your feet, I like my legs and feet all the way to touch. You can bring your feet hips distance apart. We're going to bring left arm up, right hand down. We're going to tip to the right. Hips go to the left. Ooh, that's it. Let your hips go. Maybe even bring your chest forward on the right side and your hip forward on the left side. Ugh, that'll do something. And then come all the way up and switch sides. Right hand goes up, left hand goes down. Tip. Let your hips go to the right. Again, your bottom shoulder is going to want to crawl back, bring it forward, and then your outer hip, so this would be my left shoulder and my right hip, bring them both forward. And then come all the way up and release. Okay, so feel free to take that version again, or we're going to bring our arms up either interlaced Vira Mudra with our index fingers and thumbs pointing up, or you can have your hands extended. Push into your feet, lift up, look up, reach up. Breathe. Let your shoulders come up towards your ears and ground down more through your feet. Hug the midline, hug your upper inner thighs together. Take a deep breath in, exhale, tip to the right. Point out and up. Let your hips go to the left. Let your hands go out to the right. Yeah, bring the bottom shoulder forward if it's gotten tucked back. Push into your feet more. Let your hips go even more to the left. Reach up, reach out, and go down. One more, reach up, reach out, go down. Oh. And then come all the way up to stand. You could leave your arms in the air for a recovery breath, or you can release your arms down. Big breath in. And exhale, tip to the left. Crescent pose. Engage your left side body to lift up and over and use that to get more space on your right side body. That's it. Whew. Couple more breaths. Push into your feet, reach up, reach out, go down. One more, reach up, reach out, go down, and then come all the way up. And release your arms. My friends that have done a lot of yoga online with me, maybe you're missing my lovely assistant, George, the orange cat. He's like rattling the door to try and get in right now. If you're new to practicing with me, my beloved orange tabby loves doing yoga with me, but he's like wildly distracting. And he's locked inside. So if you hear a faint rattling through the microphone, it's just George loving being with us or wanting to love to be with us. Anyways, this third round of Crescent, you could do either pose that we just did again, or you can come along for a little added something. Bring your left arm up, reach your right hand down. So pause here, get long and tall through your spine. Close your low ribs towards the top of your pelvis. Reach up and then tip over. You're going to pour your weight into your left foot, and then you're going to step your right foot out to the right. Come up onto your toe. See if you can lean so much into your standing left foot that you can lift your right leg up. Use the engagement of your right obliques. See if you can use that to lean even more to the left. And then come on up. Woo, and switch sides. Come on, Matt. Trying to trip me. Okay. Next side. Right side. Legs together. Right arm up, left arm down. So before you do anything, just get a Tadasana spine, like a neutral anatomical spine here, even with your arms doing wacky stuff. Reach up with your right hand, tip to the left. Push into your feet, hug the midline. The more your hips go to the right, the more you might be able to push weight into your right foot and bring your left toe out to the left. Keep leaning. Maybe you use the engagement of your left obliques to lift up. Woo! And then come all the way back up to stand. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands to the mat. Step back. Downward facing dog. From down dog, shift forward to plank. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale. Lower your body all in one piece to the floor. Release the tops of your feet. Roll your shoulders up and on your back. Lift up, low cobra. And then exhale. Release. Tuck your toes. Push up and back. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Stretch your heel away from your head. If you'd like, you could stack your right hip over the left one. Bend your knee. Let your heel hang towards your butt. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Draw your right knee in. Step your right foot up. Back heel spins down. Warrior one. So in this version of Warrior one, we're not going to worry about squaring the hips. Leave your hips alone. Instead, see if you can rotate your rib cage forward. In fact, push back more through the pinky edge of your back foot. Two directions of action here. Hands can come up overhead or in front of your heart. That's it. Take a deep, full breath all the way in. And then exhale, hands come down. Spin up onto the ball of your back foot. Lower your back knee to the floor. Feel free to cushion it with a blanket if you'd like. And then reach your right hand back. Lean your chest and shoulders behind you. If this twist is doing it, you can stay right here, or you can bend your back knee and find your right foot with your right hand. Kick them into one another. Lean back. One more deep, full breath. And then exhale, release. Plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up, stack your hips, bend your knee, heel towards your butt or to the floor or the wall. And then square things up. Draw your left knee in, big step, big scooch up to the front of the mat. Right heel comes down, chest and shoulders lift. Virabhadrasana 2, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. I don't know if I called it that on the other side, but this is definitely Warrior 1. So hips don't have to square in this version. Instead, focus on bringing your left rib cage back and your right rib cage forward. Imagine the grounding energy of bursting up through the earth, like you were like, bah! And emerging. That's it. One more deep, full breath. And then exhale. Hands come down, right hand to the floor. Spin up onto the ball of your back foot and lower your knee. Start here and reach your left hand back. Open your chest and shoulders. Maybe you bend the back knee and find your foot with your hand. Take a big, deep breath. That's it. When you're ready, release, step back, downward facing dog. One more little flow here before we switch it up. So come forward to plank, lower to your mat, release your feet, roll your shoulders, come up through cobra, and then come all the way back, downward facing dog. Walk your hands and feet towards each other in the middle of your mat. And then bring your hands on your hips, stand all the way up, and turn towards the long edge of your mat. Take your blocks, bring them along the back edge of the mat on either side for you. This mat is like running away. You stay here. We're still doing yoga. Okay, so let me get all my things organized here. All right, bring your arms wide and step your feet out underneath your wrists. We're going to turn our left toes in a little bit. Come up onto the heel of your right foot. Right foot turns forward. Bend into your right knee. Sit your hips down. Now we're in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. The decapitation part of this story, if you know it. It's always a good story when there's a decapitation. I don't know. Sit your hips down. Flip your right palm. Reach back, Radiant Warrior. Keep bending through your right knee. Use your left side body engaging to lift up and over like Crescent, but sit your right hip lower. And then straighten your right leg. Ooh, keep reaching back, Crescent vibes. And then come forward and out, right hand to the block or the floor for Trikonasana, triangle pose. 2 long legs, 2 long arms. And much like our Warrior 1, we're going to ground through the hips. From our outer hips, push into our feet. Try to rotate your right ribs forward and your left ribs back. That's it. Lift with your top arm. See if you can use that lift to open your chest more. And then lift so much that you come all the way back up to stand. Turn your right toes in, and then turn them in a little more. Come up onto your left heel. Toes point back. Bend in and sit for Warrior 2. I'm sweaty. It's normal for me. But try to breathe. So anytime we come into an asana and into a yoga pose, we want to be able to sit. That's actually like what the Sanskrit translation of asana is to find your seat. So see if you can like find a seat here, even though we're asking a lot of the body. Flip your front palm. Reach back, Radiant Warrior. Keep bending through your front knee. Use your side bodies to lengthen. And then extend your front leg. Reach forward and back. Come all the way out. Triangle Trikonasana. Left hand to the block or the floor. Right hand up. Just find your seat. There's a million things we could pay attention to. They are all worthwhile. So what happens when you just show up, when you offer this seat at the table instead of chasing yourself away? You reach up so much that you lift up, turn your toes towards the long edge of the mat, and hinge at your hips. Forward fold, Prasarita Padasana, wide leg forward fold. And in this version, grab your block, bring it on the tall or medium height under your forehead, and walk your hands out like down dog. Just pause and breathe. Lift your head up. Thread your left arm underneath. You may have to move the block out of the way. I did. Reach your left arm underneath you to hold over the outside of your right leg, or just your hand to the ground in front of your foot. And see if you can look up and under your right shoulder. Come all the way back. Second side. Unwind again. And step your feet, your knees together. Come all the way seated. Okay, so we're going to just do a couple seated poses before we wind down on our back. You're going to bring your legs wide left to right. Upavishta Konasana. Upavishta Konasana is a little bit more than 90 degrees in the leg. So I think it's Samasana, is like the wide splits. This is different. This is like 90 degrees. So if you want to sit up on a blanket to support your low back or a bolster, help yourself. Bring a block in front of you. You're going to bend your right knee, and bring your right foot on the block. How close your block and foot are to your body will change where you feel the stretch, as will lifting the block a level. Might be too much, might be just right. You can stay here upright, or you can crawl yourself forward. A little Janu Shirshasana variation, or like an Ardha Upavishta Baddha Konasana. Ardha Upavishta Ekapada Ardha Big. I'm getting confused. I'll just breathe. And then walk yourself up. Bring your foot off the block. And then you're going to crawl your left hand palm face up towards your left big toe. You can rest your forearm on your shin or on the block if that's better. And then reach your right arm up and overhead. Lean to the left. If you find your foot with your left hand or your big toe, that's great. Use it to open your chest more. Or if you do that and you lose the grip, great. Think about Crescent. Use your underneath side to engage and lift, and lengthen more on the lengthening side. Come on up. Keep your right leg where it is. Bring your left leg forward. Now Janu Shirshasana with a forward fold. Crawl yourself down. I guess I needed this one. Try to imagine like you could bring the right side of your nose to your left outer shin. push back through your right outer hip. Get a little more maybe traction, a little more low body stretch. And then walk yourself up. We're going to switch sides. Left leg out, right leg out, Upavishta Konasana. And then your block comes out in front of you, and we'll bend our left leg and put our left foot outer edge on the block. So second side will be different. You might need the same things and you might need something different. So approach yourself, again, like you were inviting your body in. That's it. Maybe you forward fold for a breath or two. And then walk yourself up. Move the block out from under your foot. Maybe use it under your forearm. And crawl your right hand down your right leg. Reach your left arm up and overhead. Oof. And come all the way up. All right, one last guy. Both feet together. Oh, no, two more guys. Right leg forward, Janu Shirshasana as a forward fold and a twist. So, I try to imagine like I'm getting more of my belly and sternum towards the middle of my leg. And again, if I were to fold all the way down, I'd try to bring my left cheek to the outside of my right shin. Reach back with your left outer hip. And then help yourself up. Both feet come together, knees wide. And Baddha Konasana, you could stay upright. You could bring your hands behind your hips, or you can fold. I've been a fan lately of a block between my head and my feet. That's a little more of like a flexion place in the spine. So if that hurts your low back, back off. But if your low back feels stable and secure, your upper back and shoulders might really like this. Find your seat. Take a few more breaths. Help yourself up and come all the way down onto your back. Grab one block. We're just going to take a supported bridge here before we rest. So take your block on either the medium or low height, right under your sacrum. Find a place where you can settle, where you feel like your upper back and chest gets a little like waterfall effect, and where if you were to lift your knees up, that you'd be supported. Few breaths here. In fact, it might even feel good to bring your knees together, your feet a little wider apart. Some internal rotation for the hips after we externally rotated them. For the last couple rounds of breath, if you want to draw your knees up and lift your feet in the air for a little Viparita Karani, you could get some inversion and give your body a little gravitational release. All the stuff in your feet and legs kind of getting a rush back up towards your heart, moving things around. And then lower your feet to the floor if they're not already there. Push into them, lift your hips, move the block out of the way. We are going to set up for a few minutes of supported rest in Shavasana. So grab your blanket to put under your head. Grab your bolster to slide under your knees. You can let your hands rest on your body or alongside of you. Make sure that you're comfortable. So if there's a different position you'd rather rest in or sit in for a few minutes, find it. You really can't pick wrong. You can always change your mind. In fact, if you have nowhere to go and nothing to do, you can even turn this video off and turn your music up and just vibe. Few breaths in, big breath out. Keep going. Last time, deep breath in and exhale. Just rest. And notice yourself breathing. Notice whatever sounds are around you or within you. Begin to invite movement back into your limbs. And draw your knees in, roll to one side and pause. Just take a moment here on the floor to transition before we even come upright. Like you're crawling out of your sweet warm bed on a crisp autumn day. Use your hands on the ground. Help yourself up. And find an easy seated position to end. That could be Vajrasana where we started or just Sukhasana. And bring one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly or anywhere that feels grounding. Take a deep breath in and a big breath all the way out. Wherever the rest of your day takes you, just hold close the time you offered yourself. This sort of time away from time to practice what it means to be you, to be in your body, to be moving, to find stillness. And remember that it's there anytime you need it, even if all you do is take a deep breath in. And a big breath out. And thank you all so much for sharing your practice with me virtually. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. Bye, friends.